Hi. We are less than 12 hours away from the first tee times at this week's 3M Open. We're here to break down everything from a betting, DFS, and fantasy perspective. I'm Jason Sobel from GolfBet, joined as always by Amanda Rose and Peter Jennings, my colleagues. And guys, let's get it started. By the way, don't forget, later in the show, Amanda has a special giveaway. We're going to give out something to one lucky viewer, so you want to stay tuned for that. Let's get started, guys. First segment, the leaderboard. We've got 4 players this week in the top 20 on the world ranking, a little bit less than last week. This is not as great of a field as we've seen in recent weeks, but still 4 of the top 20 in the world. They're also the 4 top on the odds makers list this week. Of course, Dustin Johnson at 12-1, Brooks Koepka, maybe not 100%, at 14-1, Tony Finau, and we've got some news on Finau. His caddy and he have parted ways. Greg Bonine not on the bag. Boyd Summerhays, his swing coach, longtime coach, will be on the bag this week. What does that mean for him? We'll see. He's at 14-1. And Tommy Fleetwood, who looked really good in Wednesday's 9-hole scramble exhibition that they played at TPC Twin Cities, he is 17-1. So here's the question, guys. You've got to pick one of these 4 to buy this week and one of these 4 to sell. I'm going to start with Peter. Who you buying? Who you selling?
Well, I'm definitely buying Tommy Fleetwood, especially after what I saw today. I was excited to see him back out there, and he looked pretty good. Hit a ball out of bounds, but other than that, hit the ball really well. A lot of buttery iron shots, which we've come to expect from Tommy Fleetwood. So really like him, and kind of in general, I'm fading the top of the board, but the guy who's fading is Brooks Koepka, who I think is a clear phase of his knee injury at this point. I really think Brooks is going to want to panic majors, and if he's healthy, I don't think he'll be again.
Amanda, are you buying or selling Peter's picks? Who are you buying? Who are you selling out of this top part of the leaderboard, top part of the odds board right now?
So as much as I love to disagree with Peter, I'm going to have to agree with him on Tommy Fleetwood. I think this week is going to be easy for Fleetwood. He's coming to TPC Twin Cities, coming from 2 weeks in the Hampton, playing Friars and Shinnecock and some of the best courses in the entire country. So this is going to be an easy week for him after those 2 weeks. So I am very much buying Fleetwood, but I'm selling Koepka. I know he came out and said the knee injury or the knee has nothing to do with my poor form, but I don't know if I believe that. So I'm just kind of selling Brooks this week. If any Koepka is going to play well, I really hope it's Chase. I mean, I hope Brooks plays well too, but I would rather all the good Koepka juju go to Chase this week.
I think there's a narrative around Brooks Koepka, and Amanda, I completely agree with you and Peter. There's this narrative that when Brooks feels like it, he's going to flip the switch. And whether it's this week or in a few weeks for the PGA Championship, Brooks Koepka is going to be able to just go out there and just play his best golf. I don't quite think it's going to happen that way, and I certainly don't think it's going to happen this week. As far as I've heard, he's had been doing a lot of work on the range this week. So Brooks Koepka is my sell for all the same reasons that you guys said. I love what I saw from Tommy Fleetwood, and I wish I could have seen more. I didn't get the invite to the Hamptons to go play Shinnecock and National, some of my favorite golf courses, but that's all right, Tommy. We'll let it slide. Loved how he played on Wednesday, but Tony Finau, and I mentioned it earlier, has his swing coach, Boyd Summerhays, on the bag this week. I think something's going to click for them. When players have used swing coaches as sort of their fill-in caddy for just a couple of weeks here and there, they tend to play pretty well. I like Tony Finau. I'm not betting on him at 14-1. It's way too low for a guy who only has one career win and an alternate field win at that, but I do like Tony Finau out of this top group. And speaking of some of these good players, we're going to see a lot of them on PGA Tour Live starting tomorrow. Early tomorrow, you can catch action from the 4 featured groups out there. And I think the featured groups might be as interesting, guys, over the first couple of rounds this week as we've seen in the last few weeks, because you can get some big numbers out here from a betting perspective. I mean, usually it's, okay, well, really good player against really good player against really good player in these things. And all right, you just pick the guy who you think is going to play best. There's some strategy involved in these things this week. So let's break these down. And first, in the 7:20 a.m. Central Time, 8:20 Eastern, 3-ball group, we've got Brooks Koepka, and we just talked about we all don't like him, with Keith Mitchell, Charles Howell III. I'm going to go start with you, Peter. Where are you going in this 3-ball match on Thursday?
I'm going to buy some long odds and go with Keith Mitchell here. I think that it makes sense to get longer odds. And, Brooks Koepka is an easy fade. I'm betting against him all over the place. Going to be fading him for the most part in DFS, potentially 100%. And I like betting against someone as much as I like betting on someone a lot of times in 3-balls. So when I see value, a lot of times it's going to come in betting against someone.
I like it, Amanda.
I got to do it again. I got to agree. I like Keith Mitchell. I think he is a horse for this course. He's a long hitter. He's a very talented hitter. I mean, he won down in, at PJ National in West Palm. So I like Keith Mitchell. I know this is a very different course from there, but CH3 hasn't been in great form recently. And, I agreed. We already all kind of Koepka earlier.
Yeah, I hate to do it, guys. Oh, man, we're all going to agree. This is going to be the most boring show ever, but I'm going Keith Mitchell. He started 69, 66, 69 on this golf course a year ago, shot 75 in the final round, but that nice start, I think could continue, coming off a 22nd place finish last week at what was a brutally tough Muirfield Village golf course. If he hadn't played well last week, I'd probably be off Mitchell because it had been a while since he had played well. But with that finish last week, I think he's rounding into form. Think it's a good course for him. So we're going to all stick with Keith Mitchell, and we're all going to go down in flames together if he does not play well. Moving on to the next 3-ball group at 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Ooh, we got the heavy hitters in this one. Dustin Johnson, Tony Finau, Tommy Fleetwood. We've all talked about them already, but Amanda, which guy are you going with just for round one in this matchup?
Just for round one, I am going with Tommy Fleetwood. I don't know. I mean, we just had the Tony Finau caddy change. I feel like DJ is more kind of showing up on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, gets off to just, around even 2 under starts on Thursday. So I'm going Fleetwood.
Peter?
Well, Amanda, I am going to agree with you this time. So we're on the same page here. It's out in a big way. I think Fleetwood is the best value of these three. DJ has been polarizing lately. Some really bad play last week, 80-80. We followed, previously won and actually hit the ball really well at RBC Heritage. And before that had played bad. So he's been really up and down. So I'll take the longer odds with Fleetwood. This is the toughest group. I probably won't actually be betting on this specific one, but if I had to go somewhere, I would take Fleetwood.
Peter, I've been saying throughout the week that this has never happened before, but I actually don't know it. Maybe you know this. There can't have been another instance of a player failing to break 80 in the previous tournament and then being the tournament favorite the following week. Do you think that's ever happened before? Anything close to that?
I don't think Tiger ever shot 80 or anything like that. So I can't.
Not 2 in a row.
So yeah, probably the first time. I don't have stats on that, but I would be confident betting that that's the first time it's happened.
All right, let's all bet on that. We can all win that one. Well, I'm going to go against you guys on this one. I'm going to go with Tony Finau. I mentioned earlier that I like Finau this week. I think the caddy switch to his swing coach is going to help him. He's coming off an opening round 66, during which he was first round leader at the Memorial Tournament last week. And as a lot of people have pointed out on social media over the last few days, bet Tony Finau on Thursday and Friday, fade him on the weekends. So I haven't done a good job of the second part of that, but I'm going to stick with the first part of that one. Getting to the next group, 12:30 p.m. Central Time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The defending champion, Matthew Wolff, Max Homa, Brandon Grace, an interesting group with this one. I am going to start, and I'm going with the defending champ here. I like Matthew Wolff. I know it's a bit chalky, but hit some good shots during the 9-hole exhibition scramble match. I get it. It's a scramble. Everyone's hitting good shots in that thing, but I think that he's trending in the right direction and obviously likes this golf course. Peter, where are you going with this one?
Yeah, I don't hate the Matthew Wolff pick. I definitely going to have exposure to him in DFS and I found some bets that I like, but probably my biggest position right now is on Max Homa, who I think sets up really well here. Max was playing awesome before the Corona swing here, or the COVID swing, as we've called it. I think Max Homa, I'm going to talk about him more on the show. He's been really close. He's missed, the cut on the number But his ball striking stats are still good. And I think Max Homa turns the corner here, and you're getting good odds on Max Homa, who I think coming in, before Matthew Wolf played well in Detroit, I think he would have been the clear-cut favorite in this group. So I think there's some value here. Amanda, what do you think?
I am so happy you guys chose different people than me. I'm going with Brendan Grace. I think he is such a powerhouse. Like, I've been watching him for a decade on the European tour, and he'll go out and he'll shoot 66, 64 in the first round. And while he is, he has the same odds as Homa in this grouping, I think Max is more of like a Saturday, Sunday guy. And I'm going with this first round. And I think Brendan Grace can just start hot and keep going. So he can either start hot and go wire to wire, or he's going to start hot and kind of fizzle. But I don't care, because I'm all about the first round.
Guys, we did it. Side action, anybody?
Yes, please.
All right. Shake on it, guys. Side action. There we go. Side action shake.
Or is it fist bump now?
Fist, oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Fist bump. COVID fist bump. I'm sorry. Hand sanitizer and everything over Zoom. Okay, so we've finally got some side action in the mix there. We get to our 12:40 p.m. Central Time group, 1:40 Eastern Time. Paul Casey, Bubba Watson, Pat Perez. Peter, where are you going on this one?
Definitely Paul Casey here for me. I think Paul Casey is right there as the favorite. I might even make him the favorite this week. I know he missed the cut last week. Had a really bad Friday round, but Paul Casey is an elite ball striker. The putter is the one thing that can let him down, but I'm going to bet on him here. I know it's not an elite top of the field, but especially versus these names in the first round, I like Paul Casey a lot. My only concern is that it'll be somewhat chalky in DFS, where I'll have a lot of exposure to him too. Yeah.
Amanda, where are you going with that?
I am going to have to agree with Paul Casey. No disrespect to anyone, but it wasn't that tough of a choice. So, I mean, I got to agree. Jason, if you don't agree with us here, I don't know how you can mentor me through my professional career if you did not pick Paul Casey.
I'm so glad I finally dropped you as a mentee, because I'm going with Pat Perez. Plus 275. Really? That's a huge number in a 3-ball matchup. I like Paul Casey this week. Don't get me wrong. I am on Casey for a lot of DFS lineups, but Pat Perez has broken 70 in 3 of his last 4 Thursday rounds. Usually fades a little bit on the weekend, kind of like Tony Finau, as we talked about. But I like Pat Perez, the way he starts. I could see him on the leaderboard on Thursday afternoon. So give me Pat Perez in that one. And guys, time to get to my favorite segment. I know I'm not supposed to play favorites here, but I love this segment. This is our ultimate DFS lineup. And for those who haven't listened to the Action Network podcast in the past, where you been? We do the ultimate DFS lineup every week. We go through DraftKings. We pick our favorite golfers back and forth. And this week, Peter and I put together a decent team. Let's see, guys, if we can do a better one here. And Amanda, you're still new. We'll give you the honors. Who do you like to start with?
I am going with Captain Kirk, Chris Kirk. For that price, not too bad. He's green in a lot of his categories, strokes gained across the board, whether it's off the tee, around the greens, whatever. He's doing a great job. And he was tied for 22nd at the Rocket Mortgage. Again, a guy where this is a course that he can play well. He's like one of our Barracuda guys who could come up to a course like this and perform. So I like Chris Kirk. Even if he doesn't win the whole thing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him finishing pretty well this week.
7,800, decent value. Peter, you gonna spend some money for us here?
Of course, I'll spend some money, and I just talked about him, Paul Casey, who I think is probably the best value of the studs at the top. Fleetwood, I don't mind, but we haven't seen him, so give me Paul Casey, who I think is an elite ball striker relative to the rest of this field. He is always an elite ball striker, but specifically, I think he's kind of the class of the field here, and I like spending money on Casey this week relative to the other spends, which I'm pretty bearish on, honestly. Where are you going, Jason?
Yeah, 10,100 this week for Casey. Okay, so guys, the way I work each week is as I'm watching Sunday's final round of the week before, I'm taking notes. I'm starting to work on my preview column, usually stay up late Sunday night and write that and kind of finish it off Monday morning. This week, I finished Sunday night. I finished it late. I said, there's a guy that I love this week. No one's going to have him. This is a guy who went to the University of Minnesota, married a girl from Minnesota. He's staying with the in-laws this week. He's the 43rd ranked player in the world. He's fresh off a 22nd place finish. He talked to Brian Stensas, a really good writer from the Star Tribune, and said he loves TBC Twin Cities. He played there all the time in college, has great memories. I mean, you talk about 10 different narrative streets all coming together this week for Eric Van Rooyen. And I'm like, I'm the smartest guy in the world. I have so many reasons to take Eric Van Rooyen, and I put it in my piece. I sent it in Sunday night to our editors, and Monday morning I logged onto Twitter, and before it was even posted, everybody on Twitter is on Eric Van Rooyen. So I guess I'm just kind of one of the gang there. But in any case, he might be chalky, but I like Eric Van Rooyen at 8,800. Amanda, where are you going with your second one?
All right, guys, I need you to listen carefully to me, and I need everyone watching this to listen carefully to me. Doc Redman. This is a name you need to put in your brain. Do you understand me? This kid, over his last 12 rounds, he's second in strokes gained ball striking, third in strokes gained approach, 11th in strokes gained total. Tee to green, he's second. Off the tee, he's 12th. This is just over the last 11 rounds. In his last 3 tournaments, he finished 21, 11, and 21. I think this is a great place for him to do well. However, at 8,700, he's a little more expensive than we might see him in a different week. I mean, he's more expensive than my other pick, Chris Kirk, but Doc Redman, I love him this week. I'm very bullish on him, and I want everyone to know that name.
First of all, Amanda, I'm totally with you. Secondly, I know you're new. It's your second show that you're doing with us. Spend some money. It's okay. Don't let Peter spend all of our money. You can spend the money too. It's okay. We want you to spend the money. So I love the Doc Redman pick. Peter, first of all, do you like the Doc Redman pick? And secondly, where are you going with your second one?
Yeah, I like the Doc Redman pick, and I really like the EVR pick too. Both those guys have a potential to be chalky. EVR are more likely to be chalk. I think Doc Redman could come in a little bit lower owned, but Amanda might be moving the needle here with the ownership. So hopefully we get Doc Redman a little low owned. I'm going with a guy who has been chalky and starting to get lower owned. I hope the missed cuts will keep people off Max Homa. Mentioned him before. I think Max Homa is a great value in DFS. He's teeing off late on Thursday and early on Friday, which is a nice benefit as well. I think he's a really, really strong DraftKings value. And my only concern here is I love the equity of our team. I'm just worried we have a little bit too much ownership, but I think we have good picks overall. Where are you going, Jason?
Well, you're worried about too much ownership. I'm going to take care of some things here because, first of all, haven't left me much money to play with, which is okay. That's fine. You're just like the rest of my family. Secondly, there's a guy that hopefully isn't too highly owned. And all I can say is, I tried to get a bet in on him after we had done our podcast the other day, Peter, after I'd written my preview. He was 300-1 earlier in the week, and I went to get a bet in. He was 100-1, as one of our editors told me. Someone talked about him a little too much. So sorry about that, but I still like Sahith Theegala a lot this week. If you don't know the name, learn it, remember it. He was the Jack Nicklaus and Ben Hogan Award winner this year as the Collegiate Player of the Year out of Pepperdine. This kid's got a lot of game. He's 0 for 2 on the PGA Tour since turning pro. He's got a couple of other sponsors exemptions, but I think this one should suit him better. If you didn't think that a recent college kid could win a golf tournament, well, guess what? It happened at this one last year. Matthew Wolff did it. And I think Sahith Theegala is maybe as good a prospect as Matthew Wolff. And going through the team, guys, we've got Chris Kirk, Paul Casey, Eric Van Rooyen, Doc Redman, Max Homa, Sahith Theegala. How you guys feeling on a confidence level 1 to 10?
I'll go with a 9. I think that's a really good team. I would go 10. We have a little bit of ownership, but you say this there. I think Kirk actually could come in low owned too, but love the equity of our team. The only concern is it might be chalky, but that means we have good picks.
Amanda, you confident in us?
I'm super confident because it's Wednesday night. Ask me tomorrow, ask me Saturday, and I'll let you know.
You're learning so quickly. Every pick is a good pick on Wednesday night, right? Okay, as we move on, we're getting to our perfect portfolio as we do every week. And guys, I will preface this by saying we are all different kinds of bettors. We all represent a different part of the betting stratosphere out there. Peter, high stakes, high value. Myself, I don't know. I just like throwing out long shots and trying to win something at some point. Amanda, lower stakes. That's okay. For those new bettors out there, you don't have to put your mortgage on the line every week. It's all right. So we have been given, some of us have been given some money this week. I don't know. Peter, do you have some money? Peter's got a little cash there. Amanda, what you got? Okay. Yeah, Amanda's got a little money. I guess that first paycheck didn't come through yet, but
I'm waiting.
We have got our money to spend this week, and we're going to delineate how we want to spend it. Peter, you got that fat stack over there. I'll go to you first. How do you want to spend this money?
Yeah, so I'm going to do something different here. Normally, and I do allocate my portfolio and diversify, but I've mentioned Max Homa and how I'm really bullish on him. I think he's coming in with the missed cuts, which will kind of bring some value to him. There's going to be better odds than you normally would get. He was playing lights out, like I mentioned, pre the COVID swing. And so I'm betting on him in a variety of different ways. And I also love that he's on Twitter talking about how his game's really close and he's going to play well. So Max is a great golfer, but easily the best guy in social media in the golf world. So in terms of how I'm betting on him, though, I'm going to bet him to make the cut, first of all. So that's my least risky kind of chalkier bet. I think he makes the cut way more than his price. I've seen minus 175 in a variety of places. Love that bet. I'm also betting him to be top 20, which is probably my favorite value. In general, when I'm trying to grind up my bankroll, I love the top 20 bets a ton. It's a good way to bet on a golfer. And you're getting pretty good odds with Max Homa. And then I'm also going to bet him outright. He's one of my favorite plays overall. And the key on the outright bet is to make sure you shop for the best price. If you have the option to bet at multiple sports books, you can get oftentimes a much better price at one place versus another. Max Homa is 60-1 in most places, but I actually found him at 70-1 at one specific book. So love that portfolio of Max Homa. And that's one way to kind of build around a guy that you're bullish on, which for me is Max Homa this week.
Yeah, I like how you did that there. I will point out one thing, Peter. Max Homa said, yes, he's confident, and yes, he thinks he's going to play well. But that's part of Max Homa's new Twitter strategy. He was so good on Twitter for so long, and finally he said, I'm spending too much time on Twitter. I'm getting involved with the trolls out there. Now I'm basically going to tweet as if my agent is tweeting for me. So now every tweet is, hey, can't wait to get to Minnesota, playing really well. Hope I play well this week. Should be a great one. Let's go. And so that's the kind of tweets we're getting from Max Homa, which is a complete shame because he's up there with Eddie Pepperell amongst the best tweeters out there. So Amanda, I know you got some fat stacks over there of your own. Let's see what you look at all that cash. Where are you going with that cash this week?
Listen to me. I'm going to put a whopping $6 on Sam Burns. I mean, he's 45-1. He finished 24-30-17 last three starts. I think he's so close. And he's one of those young stars that came out with Joaquin Neiman and Cameron Champ. And he kind of got forgotten in that mix just because those two one started winning and the other was finishing incredibly well. So I think he's very close. $6. Let's do it.
I like it. How about anything else in the portfolio, or was it you throwing everything on Sam Burns?
I know. I thought it was. I was like, what are we?
You got so caught up in the Sam Burns. I'm like, I like Burns. Bets.
No, see, I thought Pete only did the one. So I did. You just put all your money on that one?
Yeah, I allocated the 150.
Okay, it cut off. The AirPods are not so great. Okay, so then I'm going to put $2 on Doc Redman, top 10. I'm bullish on him, and then another $2 on Jamie Lovemark, who played pretty well, but then tends to fall off in his Friday rounds or just makes the cut and doesn't do great on the cut. But 70, 71, 68, 73, 75, 72 are his last three starts. I think he's close. I mean, he was Web Tour Player of the Year in 2010. Like, come on, kid's got talent. Also, if I can do an honorable mention, it'll be Bryce Garnett. To you, Jason.
Yeah, didn't have the cash for Bryce Garnett. I'll rip a little corner off of this for you, and I'll let you take some Bryce Garnett, Amanda. Friend of the show, Jamie Lovemark, by the way. So I am going to go with I'm going to spend half my money here on Eric Van Rooyen outright. Like I said, I've been on this since this past weekend. I'm very saddened that everybody else in the Twitter world, the gambling world, the DFS world has apparently crept into my brain and said the exact same thing. But hey, look, Rahm was a popular play last week. Morikawa was a popular play the week before. Bryson was certainly a popular play the week before that. So, hey, it's okay if we're all right together. That would be just fine by me if I'm taking him outright, which I am. I'm going to put a quarter of my portfolio here on Sahith Theegala as a top 10 play. I mentioned the parallel between him and Matthew Wolff, who won here last year. Just remember, it was a month ago when Will Gordon, straight out of college, finished T3 at the Travelers. Guess what? Will Gordon's not any better than Sahith Theegala, and that was a tougher field. This one is not quite the field as that one was. And Thigala is a really good player. So I like that. And then the third play, another quarter of my portfolio, is a guy I haven't mentioned yet, but Christopher Ventura. And again, more connection to Wolf. Played college golf with Wolf and Victor Hovland at Oklahoma State. He got his PGA Tour card with 2 Korn Ferry wins last year. He's been bouncing back and forth, but his last 5 starts, 2 top 25 finishes on the PGA Tour, 2 top 10 finishes on the Korn Ferry. So I like Christopher Ventura this week. Now, we want to get some of your worst bets. I'm talking about the stinky ones, the ones that as you're putting in, you're going to lose. It's called bad bets. Bad bets, Amanda.
Hello, bad bets. What you gonna do?
What
you gonna do when Amanda Rose comes for you? Okay.
All right, so Amanda, you are going to give away one of these spiffy. I just want to throw this thing on because I believe that I'm still the only person in the world that has this hat. I don't know what it says about the bettors when there's a black cat going across the screen as you're trying to make your bets. That might have been planned perfectly because this works as like a Friday the 13th thing. But Amanda, where are the worst bets this week? We asked for people's worst bets. What do you got?
All right. So for our runner-up, Angus Flanagan at 750 to 1. Sam Spradlin. That was pretty gutsy. I don't think it's a very good bet, but it wasn't our worst bet or our best of the worst or our worst of the best. I don't know. Patrick Steed with a personal favorite of mine, the big Zimbabwean, Brendan DeYoung, wire-to-wire winner this week. That is our least of the good bets. So that one wins the hat that is on Jason's head right this minute. So give us your – okay, so yeah.
Black cat's going across the screen. Bad news for Brendan DeYoung right now.
I don't think
First of all,
wire-to-wire.
You don't get this hat. You get a hat very much like it. You can't have my hat. Secondly,
and did that picture show up?
Secondly, yes, there's a picture of Amanda with Brendan DeYoung. She met him in an airport. No one's ever gone up to Brendan DeYoung in an airport before and gotten a picture with him. So that was fantastic. And last of all, I need a ticket before this guy gets a hat. We just can't go on Twitter and say, yeah, I took Brendan DeYoung to win. Like, if you show us a ticket, you get a hat. Yeah. So no ticket, no hat. That's how it works around here. Guys, I want to get to another segment very, very quickly. We call this one garbage time, and we save this. This is like overtime because, we save it if we have a little extra, sort of like injury time in soccer. And we've gotten a little injury time here. We did it last week. One player that we haven't mentioned yet on the show, one leftover player that you're kind of thinking about. The name hasn't been mentioned. Peter, you got anybody real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to mention Ryan Moore, who I think is consistently undervalued just kind of in the PGA Tour market so far. A really accurate player who had a lot of amateur success. Hasn't had great results, missed the cut on the number, had a bad Saturday round, but played well on Sunday, actually, last week. 2 over on Sunday was actually a phenomenal round. And I think he's one of the better golfers in this field. I think he's one of the top 10 or 15 golfers, and he's not priced that way. So I think there's value in the betting markets on Ryan Moore, and certainly don't hate him as a DFS play either. Not the sexiest of names, but a really consistent player.
I think Ryan Moore's kind of sexy. Amanda, who do you like?
So I'm going to do it. I'm going to say Arjun Atwal. I mean, he won the Wyndham in 2010 after a Monday qualifier, and he hasn't played too bad. His last start, he played okay. I really can't remember if he made the cut or not, but I saw him on a leaderboard. So, Arjun.
I like it. I like that play a lot. I'm going to go with a guy that I haven't heard anyone talking about whatsoever, and this feels like a week where some of the young sort of college stars who haven't really blossomed yet. We mentioned Sam Burns is one of those guys. I know a lot of people are on Patrick Rogers, who was a really good college player at Stanford. Yep. Brandon Hagee was a really good college player at Cal. He hits the ball a mile. I think that could work really well on this golf course, TPC in Twin Cities. Haven't heard anybody on Brandon Hagee yet this week. Apparently his ownership percentage on DFS is looking at less than 1%. So maybe there's a little thought on Brandon Hagee playing kind of well again in a field like this. Why not? Peter, why not, right?
Yeah, I like that. And I think it's really important. There's a millionaire maker on DraftKings. Get some of those low-owned guys. So I like that.
All right. Let's see what happens. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for watching the Gimme. You can catch all of the 3M Open starting tomorrow morning. PGA Tour Live is going to have all of that coverage. For Peter Jennings, For Amanda Rose, I'm Jason Sobel, and here's hoping all of your bets hit the green.